Good morning. How are you? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoyed the games if you were at them. And I hope you're happy with the result of your team. Please like, please subscribe, please get in the comments and let me know your thoughts on all things from the weekend. We already mentioned in the last video about Chelsea's dominant display over that of Aston Villa. Heading into this week, I will have my eye on that, but I think there's major problems there at Aston Villa, and to finish fifth last season, we expect a little bit more from Carla Ward's side, considering how strong they are and how many talented players there are in there. The later game yesterday, Manchester United against Brighton. What about that Terland? Whoa, for Brighton, what a player she is becoming. And she's just hit the ground running, hasn't she? Very, very, very good. And a good performance from Brighton. I certainly like what they're offering. They would have hoped for more from that result, especially having the lead. But then Man United have the definition of a super sub. For Rachel Williams to come on again, and get a late equaliser, nick a point, is just absolutely outstanding. 98th minute leveller to snatch a point for Manchester United. I actually thought they would have come into this game probably going to take all 3 points, but Brighton gave them a good run for their money. Like we say, they're improving. They've got a strong side there. They're coming on week in, week out, and that was a good point for them, of course. Also, you know, Arsenal, we've got to focus a little bit there. We'll come there in just a second, but let's just give credit to Bristol City, who got their first win in the WSL at the weekend over West Ham. Bit of a thrilling game, that one. So that's absolutely outstanding for Bristol City, and to just see things moving. But just to point out how bad things are then at the bottom of the table for Aston Villa. They've not got 1 point. I mean, Bristol are above them now. The drop off is quite significant. And I'm curious as to why. You know, I know they've had the injury, etc., but with the squad and the investment and the, you know, they've had something. Then again, last season their injuries were really, really poor. They had a lot of problems last season in terms of injuries. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. Good win for Liverpool over Leicester, 2-1. I have to say, Matt Beard's side has pleasantly surprised many of us. We know that they're a competitive side, again, a side that's been had its issues with injuries. He was dealing with players coming back from the international break and hectic schedules, but they're really rising to the occasion this time round. And looking at the table, you know, 5 games played, them up to 4th, 10 points, along with Manchester City, Tottenham, Man United, Arsenal. It's good. It's looking good for Liverpool. He's a very, very good manager, and there's a decent squad there. Let's talk about, of course, Arsenal against Manchester City. Okay, yeah, fine. This is kind of what I expected to play out, because City had been unbeaten coming into this game. Credit to Gareth Taylor's side and the strong start that they've had to the season. This is the best start we've seen to them to a season in quite some time. I mean, the last few years have been a bit of a struggle when it comes to start of the season, and then they've always been playing catch up. So a stronger way to get into things. Arsenal back at Boreham Wood. It's the same scoreline from what happened last time round at that game. I think it was the second last game of the season in May, when it was 1-0 City, then Arsenal leveled things, and then McCabe got the goal from the set piece, that rocket, and has been on fine form since. But the squad now that Jonas Cedeval has to work with is pretty special. I am curious to see if they can go all the way. I'm surprised that Russo's not quite hit the ground running as much as I thought she was going to. You can let me know your thoughts on that. I know she's going to come good, but there's something just not quite fully clicking yet. Perhaps there's an element of pressure. But Arsenal gave it the bite. Fair play to Stan Blackstenius, who must be working her socks off and has stepped up in big moments. She really has, because Stan Blackstenius is coming to Arsenal again. She's a little bit of that, maybe similar to Russo now. We expected that little bit more from her. It took her a little bit of time to get running, but since a number of players has been returning to injury, since she kind of lost her place for a while, since the Russo rumours last January, Stina has come out with a point to prove, and I think it's been exceptional. And that's a huge win for Arsenal yesterday. I mean, it lifts them up to 5th in the table, you know, and even that's surprising for Arsenal 5 games in. You would expect a bit more from them. I actually was reading in the papers today, I hadn't seen this in the game yesterday, about oh, by the way, Steph Catley's goal, great goal. Loved that goal. Fair play, Steph Catley. One thing I hadn't seen in the game was apparently Gareth Taylor saying that Jonas Edeval was bullying the match official, the 4th official. He said he's always like that. He's always up to that kind of stuff, and I'd like to protect the match official, but he's always at the match official. It's interesting because we see it a lot in football, and he's passionate, right? He's wanting the right decisions for his team. He's wanting to make sure that enough has been done if he feels that things aren't going on his side. I actually like Jonas Edeval's passion on the sidelines, and I think Gareth Taylor's a great coach, but I thought that was an element of shade thrown there, a little bit of, oh. I was actually at a birthday party on Saturday, and Jonas Edeval was there, and I said, good luck tomorrow. And he went, we always do our best. And I was like, yes sir, of course you do. And that was great. That was a good result to come back to Meadow Park, their first game at Meadow Park this season, which is strange, isn't it? And then next time round, well, I'm just looking ahead to Chelsea now on the 10th of December. I cannot wait for that game back at the Emirates. But the first game there at Boreham Wood, they're back in the Cup there this Thursday, I believe, against Bristol City. So that's kind of how things are looking in terms of the action from the weekend. I think we've kind of got through the gist and the nuts and the bones there. Tottenham, man. Tottenham are doing well. Tottenham are doing very well. All eyes on them this season. And I think looking at the top of the table, you've got to see the improvements of the league, the standards, the investment that's really gone into the WSL. And actually, just in that quick bit of reflection on Emma Hayes and the news that she's going to depart the WSL and likely go to the US women's national team is, you know, she's kind of paved the way in terms of leading by example and making sure other managers step up and get on the page, you know, and we're seeing that all too now often with the standards in women's football, and it's brilliant to see it going upwards, and Emma Hayes will be missed at Chelsea, no doubt about that, and wherever she goes, we will follow her, likely to the US women's national team. I actually had thrown out a wee trigger warning on Sky the other day, like, oh, what if she gets the men's England job? God forbid a woman were to go into men's football. But I'm pretty sure she'd smash that as well. Just because, you know, Gareth Southgate's leaving his role likely after the Euros at the end of the season, which is next year when Emma Hayes would leave her Chelsea role. I don't know. Just throwing rumours out there to get everyone talking. But it's likely that she's going to go to the US women's national team. Anywho, interesting wee weekend. We go into the next week and we've got cup action this week also. So I will speak to you then and have a good week.